Welcome back to the Quintilian Institute of Words About Words. As you can see, we've been busy renovating. Our elite research team continues to expand, and as a result, it became necessary for us to expand as well. But of course, we're not here to talk about construction projects, so don't let me bore you with all of those details. Suffice it to say that the Institute is doing quite well, all things considered. Staff satisfaction is at record highs, and funding continues to surpass all predicted benchmarks. As a result, rediscoveries of words about words is also accelerating, and it is for that reason that our lead investigators have asked me to put together a special presentation on a very important idea. See, we recently uncovered a trove of words about words that all rely on a knowledge of parallel structure. If we were to release these words about words to the public without first laying a foundation in parallel structure, I have been assured that these forthcoming rediscoveries would only sound like so much Greek to our devoted audience. And we surely wouldn't want that, so let's make our way to the Quintilian Institute's cafeteria to get our first taste of parallel structure. If you've ever set a table, you know that it's generally considered good manners to ensure that every place setting is the same. You want every guest to have what they need to enjoy the meal, and you want the table as a whole to look consistent and presentable. Imagine, for example, that you were seated in a spot where the place setting had been done inconsistently. Everyone around you has a plate, fork, knife, and glass, but you have a paper towel, a water bottle, and a wire whisk. It would, to say the very least, likely take the sheen off your dining experience. Or, worse yet, imagine what would happen if the host had set the table with consistent items, but in inconsistent places. Sometimes the fork is on the left, sometimes the right. Sometimes all the utensils are on one side of the plate or another. Under such circumstances, dining could become legitimately confusing. Is that your spoon on the right or your neighbor's? In that light, good place settings are not just a sign that you have old-fashioned manners. Setting a table consistently can, yes, make a table look more presentable, but it can be practically useful too, by eliminating the potential for confusion and ensuring that everybody understands where their food and utensils belong. Well, as we turn our attention back to syntax, parallel structure can be to our sentences what consistent place settings are to our dining tables. Just as it can be beneficial to set each dining spot in a consistent way, it can be beneficial to structure our sentences in a consistent way. For example, here's a sentence with repeated elements that are not structured consistently. June likes to eat spaghetti, to play checkers, and the color puce. If you've been around for a while, this sentence might meet your ear like the dulcet tones of someone playing a violin off-key with a block of styrofoam. Even if you haven't, though, the third item in the list still sticks out for the way it breaks the pattern established by the first two. See, if we rearrange the parts, it gets easier to see how 2 out of 3 are structured in the same way, but the third violates that pattern. We get 2 infinitive verbs to establish the pattern, but then we finish up with a noun phrase, like a place setting with a wire whisk instead of a fork. We could fix it in a couple of ways. Perhaps June likes to eat spaghetti, to play checkers, and to see the color puce. This is better, but you'll notice that the third item in our list still has some additional words that the others don't. It's like a place setting with an extra napkin. So we could change it even further. June likes to eat the food spaghetti, to play the game checkers, and to see the color puce. Now every item is consistent, but it might sound a bit ridiculous. Luckily, we can achieve the same effect in a much simpler way. June likes spaghetti, checkers, and puce. 3 simple nouns, all in succession. The pattern is established and honored. Of course, it doesn't just work in threes. Take, for example, the troubled parallel structure in this sentence. Jenny is a carpenter, Jimmy bakes bread. Here we have 2 clauses meant to set up a comparison between Jenny and Jimmy. However, the clauses are structured in different ways, and that structural difference can make it a little more difficult to see the point being made. If we aim for good parallel structure, it becomes instantly clearer that we're contrasting their respective professions. Easy, isn't it? And consider the effect that successive sentences with good parallel structure can have. For example, I ask for a new beginning. I call for a bright future. I plead for a free dessert. There's a polish and authority to sentences built with consistent structure for a particular effect. And yes, you may have noticed there's a minor infraction in that the third sentence in our set switches from lofty abstractions to a concrete request, but in this case it's a humorous subversion of the pattern, not a clumsy loss of control. Remember, as with all things in writing, there are no rules, just tools that you can use more or less effectively. And again, just to reinforce the fact that parallel structure is not just for looks, take a sentence like this one. This sentence is long, and it's also complex, but this is a case where good parallel structure and clear signals to readers that parallel structure is at play can help those readers to sort out the information and figure out which spoon goes with which plate. In this case, we can inject the word that in 3 places, showing readers clearly and explicitly that they're dealing with a series of 3 clauses, not just a shapeless mass of phrases separated by commas. And I bring this up not only to show how highlighting parallel structure can help readers to read, but also to point out that there is value in using words that some writing authorities would call unnecessary. Poor little that is often vilified as an unnecessary word that should always be cut. But even if a sentence will work without it, chances are it will actually work better with it. So don't let the editorial verve for cutting little words lead you into writing unnecessarily confusing sentences. Leave the that's in, and the structure, and therefore the meaning of your sentences, will be instantly clarified. So, to summarize, parallel structure, or parallelism, involves making sure that related sentences or sentence parts are structured in consistent ways. Just what that structure will be will depend on each case, but in any case, consistent structure will make all the difference. Not only will it show your readers your refined skill as a writer, but it will also clarify structure, eliminate confusion, and, yes, enhance beauty. And so, with this foundational understanding of parallel structure, I'm looking forward to share our latest parallelism-related rediscoveries with you in coming days. As always, it's been a great pleasure to have you with us here, especially as we undertake the ongoing expansion of the Institute. Of course, as always and once again, I invite you to like, I encourage you to subscribe, I ask you to comment. Imaginary bonus points are available for comments that demonstrate excellent parallel structure. Either way, I offer our ongoing gratitude for your continuing support. It is thanks to viewers like you that the Quintilian Institute of Words About Words continues to grow, and we are eager to see you here again when we return with more of our regularly scheduled rediscoveries. I don't even believe what I'm hearing. I know we're expanding the facility, but what gave you the idea that parallel structure meant we wanted to put in a parallel parking garage? How would that even work?